Hi there, it's Ramon Jimenez again. Like I said in the previous video, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just bored, and it's during a pandemic lockdown, so I might as well make videos. I wanted to share something with my readers and my audience. I was reading a book, and it's written by a man who is actually better known by his first book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and his name is Robert Kiyosaki. He was a lieutenant flying helicopters for the U.S. Marines at one time. Really interesting guy. I suggest you look into him and some of his books. But I'm just literally going to quote one little snippet in page 8 and 9 of this book, 8 Lessons in Military Leadership for Entrepreneurs. What is cheating? In traditional schools, we're trained to take tests on our own. If you cooperate at test time, it's called cheating. At the academy, in flight school, and in the Marine Corps, we are trained to cooperate to take many of our tests as a team. Even a Marine sniper has a spotter, someone to call the shots. One thing I loved about being a helicopter gunship pilot was that my mechanic, aka crew chief, flew with me. We flew as a 5-man team, 2 pilots, 2 gunners, and 1 crew chief. We all depended upon each other. I do not find the level of cooperation in the corporate types that I run into. The leadership style of most corporate executives can be summarized like this: I'm looking out for number 1, or do as I tell you or I'll fire you. Simply stated, military leaders lead via mission and corporate leaders lead via money. When I meet entrepreneurs without military training, most lead by placing importance on paychecks and stock options rather than on mission. Their team will do what the leader wants done as long as the paychecks keep coming. If you ask anyone who has been in combat, they will tell you that as a situation becomes more hazardous, the teamwork gets stronger. In most businesses, the opposite is true. Teamwork disintegrates when conditions become hazardous. When the going gets tough, civilians fix bayonets and often stab each other in the back. I found that interesting because as I was reading this, I was going through a time in my career where this was actually quite appropriate. And I realized it's one of the few struggles that I had moving from a military life to a civilian life. There were very, very many differences that you learn, especially with team dynamics. From a corporate perspective, I realized that many of my leadership attributes, my behaviors, came from the military and how we're supposed to behave. Now, a lot of people might think that if you're a member of the military, then you're just a knuckle-dragging savage, which is not true. I think depending on the type of person you are, you have all kinds. So in the military, you have those knuckle-dragging savages. Then you have the very sophisticated, very academic types that I run into all the time, and I've had the pleasure of having some of the best commanders. Now, the reason why I kind of gravitated towards this particular set of pages was because I realized that that there's a difference the way military people approach and engage certain situations. The very first is actually teamwork, and that is that for us, it is better to be part of a group or a team, and whereas I would learn from the people above me and the people below me will learn from me. And you have a series of networks, a matrix of relationships that allows for the transfer of knowledge freely. That obviously, if I am to become a better soldier, I have to be a better team player. And what that means is that as I progress in my career, it's obviously better that I train to the best of my ability the person who's going to take mine over. Now, many times in the military, they also tell you, you actually have the responsibility before you even wear the rank. Before you're ever promoted, you should know the job of the person above you and, of course, your own personal job and do that well so that you can train the people below you so that, let's face it, the consequences of having a bad team dynamic within a military unit is, let's just say, graver because of the fact that obviously when a team does not watch out for one another and work on its mission as a single unit, then people die. And I saw this as one of the major differences in the way that I approach leadership is I always take a look at a team. And it's I've always used the term roundtable, wherein, yes, I may be paid a lot more, but that's not important. I am here to share some of my experience, and maybe because I'm a little bit more senior, I'm able to share some more of my leadership experience and lend that to the team. Whereas there could be coders, technical writers, you have functional analysts, and so forth, at least in my line of work, which is IT, I realized that there are hierarchical constructs within corporate which actually are far more draconian for non-prior military people. And they seem to put a lot of importance to that, not necessarily that you earned it, because in the military you earn it, right? I mean, like I said, you have the responsibility long before you actually wear the rank. At least in the units that I was in, I think that goes true for most units, especially combat units. I really find that kind of bonding, that kind of team dynamic, far more applicable to corporate. Because, like I said, when things get tough, military units, what do? You get each other's back, you form a circle, so you have a 360-degree line of fire against anybody else who's trying to hurt the team. Whereas in corporate, I've seen that when projects go bad or when outcomes turn bad, that people are trying to point the finger at whoever it is that would be the fall guy, and that's not good teamwork. Obviously, that has happened in many of the, especially quite recently, in one of my previous employers. That at the end of the day, again, there's also honor. At the end of the day, if I was at fault and that was my watch, my call, I have to be honorable enough to admit, right, that I did something wrong. And guess what? My team, instead of, making sure that I'm shamed or that I pay for all my wrongdoing, they'll actually come to me. And this is a very military thing, that they would come to me and say, how do we help you so that we don't make that same mistake again? Because if you make that same mistake again, guess what? One of us might end up dead. And again, it's not the same grave consequences as you would in corporate, but I think the message is well kept. What do you guys think? I mean, I found this quite interesting. Leave your comments at the bottom. I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to even make a video with you if you want to do a Zoom meeting with me and cover these things. Thank you so much. And is it cheating or teamwork? I really want to know from you guys. Thank you so much. I want to know your experiences between the military and the corporate world. And for those of you who are transitioning, good luck.